weekly media availability the week of March 16th, 2026. Today she's joined by hitting coach and director of analytics, Jim Bray. Roadrunners 17-12 on the season, a 6-0 start to conference play, ties the program record from 2006. Coach, if you could start us off with an opening statement, and then we'll move into questions.
Well, thank you, Ryan. And Justin, thanks for being here. First, I'd like to say happy birthday to this guy right here. He's 29 again, and we're glad to celebrate him today on the press conference. Again, I started the presser last week. Wow, what a weekend. And, you know, when you say the first time since 2006, that's 20 years ago. And these girls, most of these girls weren't even born or were just 1 or 2 years old. So, really fun to see them putting into action some of the things that we've been talking about, some of the things that we've wanted to accomplish this year. So they know we have a long road ahead of us, and that you know it only gets tougher as the winning streak, I guess, continues. But we are this group is really ready for the challenge, and I'm really proud of them. And we just got to put our heads down and keep working. And you know, like they say, everything in the media and all the accolades and stuff is rat poison. So we just got to stay really focused and poised on what our goals are.
Yeah, and for Coach Bray, team's hitting 322 on the season, about a 63% increase. What has gone into that success at the plate?
Yeah, actually, we've been doing a very good job of being disciplined, and I'm proud of our girls for all the hard work they put in. And, you know, honestly, just having a good plan and sticking to basics has been a big key for us this year. We had a few down games in there, and we just got back to work. You know, we went back to the basics. We went back to the things that have gotten us there in the first place. You know, getting into the cages, focusing on fundamentals, and you know, honestly, I'm really proud of some of the development, especially from some of the kids that are coming back. But these freshmen are doing a great job too, and they're really buying into a system. So honestly, I can give them a lot of credit of just focusing and being intentional in our cage sessions and in our BP sessions.
Yeah, one of those freshmen, Brooklyn, met her. 398 on the season, an OPS over 1,000. Taryn Madlock, the other one with an OPS over 1,000. Yeah. What have you liked out of your catcher this season at the plate?
Honestly, the kid just hits. You know, I think that the best part about her is she's kind of fearless. You know, she does a good job against all types of pitching, and you know, she listens to everything too. I mean, the kid has gotten better consistently. I remember her saying to me at one point during the beginning of the year, she goes, "Oh, I didn't know. This was very different to me, you know, going into my swing and diving into my swing." But, you know, the other day she said, "Man, I just know so much about what I'm doing at the plate now." And it's fun to watch her development just in a short time. I mean, just from fall to now, she's gotten better. And the kid just hits. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, she's a competitor, and she's getting better behind the plate too, which we're really proud of. So, yeah, we're very happy with Brooklyn's performance so far this year.
All right, one more from me, and then we'll turn it over to Justin. A lot of your young stars this year from areas like the Coastal Bend, Corpus Christi, and then the Valley, two really under-recruited softball areas at this stage. What do you look for in a recruit, and why do you keep finding it down there in the Coastal Bend and in the Valley?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I think that there's really good talent. I think sometimes in a mid-major, you got to find some people that might be overlooked. I think there's a lot of good physicality too, and this is something I'm proud of our coaching staff with. I think we develop kids well. You know, I think we really put an emphasis in development of our student athletes, and honestly, you know, finding some of these athletic kids. I mean, if you look at Demery and Brooklyn and Arlette, and you know, I'm missing some, I'm sure, but those kids are just really athletic kids, and they want to play. You know, they're competitive kids, they're physical kids, they have tools, and so, you know, you get a couple kids that have some tools, and then, you know, you get a bunch of coaches that are really bought in on the idea of development, and you have something that can be kind of special. So, you know, I think it's been a really good area for us, you know, Corpus for sure, and in the Valley for sure. And I obviously have had a background in, you know, recruiting the Valley and experience with some of the Valley kids at some of the smaller schools I've been at, and had good success there too. So.
All right, Justin, fire away.
I've got to tell you, Vann, I really wish you hadn't drawn the comparison of how long ago 2006 was. I could have done without that. But one thing I'm curious about, with you guys are winning, especially starting off conference this way. But one thing I'm curious about, that Corpus game in the middle of last week, you had the high of the Tulsa series, you have that low of the Corpus game. That could have completely changed your momentum. Instead, you guys come out and you sweep Memphis. Tell me about after that Corpus game. What was your messaging? What did you say to the team? And what did you see from the team to be able to rebound from that and take another 3 conference games?
The course of confidence, it's so interesting. I would love to figure out how to say this eloquently, but I'm sort of a redneck, so I don't really know how to say this as eloquently as it needs to be said. But people get complacent when they do well for some reason. And it doesn't matter what I say, and it doesn't matter how much I push, or it doesn't matter how tough I am at practice. If they're complacent in their mind with how they're performing, they don't push themselves as hard. And I really, I don't want to lose 7-0 anywhere ever. But I really think we needed that. I think it was a big wake-up call to them. Thursday, we came out and went to practice, and in the last 2 years, I don't think I would have gotten what we got out of them on Thursday when we got back from that Corpus midweek trip, and it was just a different fire, a different hunger, like, oh, okay, I see what she's been talking about. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to put in my work. And, what people don't understand is what got you here won't take you there. If you want to keep moving forward, then you have to keep putting in the work that got you to where you are, plus learning how to get to the next step. And I think trying to teach that is tough. People have to have expensive experience, and hopefully we've had enough of it in this preseason and then now that midweek game that we'll get enough buy-in for the rest of the year. But mainly it's just, put your head down, go to work, and focus on the process of what creates the outcome. If you're focused on that outcome and you're only thinking about that, you're not going to be doing the work. So it's do the work, basically. Do your job. Do it as best as you can, and support the ones around you in their quest to do their job. That's basically the message.
I'm really glad you two are here because I love both of your perspectives on this one. Conference is different than anything non-conference. You might play the same team twice in non-conference, but conference, you've got same team, 3 games in 3 days, time to prepare, time to watch more film before each one. Your team's 6-0. You've swept 2 conference series now. What have you seen from your team in the adjustments that they've made, going into game 2, going into game 3? The other team's also making adjustments, but your team has come out on top. What have you seen from your team, especially on your respective sides of the ball, making those adjustments to be able to finish off these 2 sweeps to start conference play?
Well, one thing I think is important to note is Arlette, being a freshman, hasn't understood yet that, when we get into the conference, they do have more time to prepare, and they do have a better plan, and they can practice the plan. When you're in those tournaments where there's 5 teams in the tournament, nobody can prepare for you. So I think it's going to be crucial that our bullpen can come out of the bullpen ready to go. And if somebody has a good plan against Arlette, who's been our sort of our top dog this year, if they've got a good plan and they're disciplined, then our bullpen just has to step up. And, I think that's what you've seen. Reagan Stout did it this weekend. Aubrey Flores did it on Friday. Last weekend, we had all of them. Ava Eldridge, we had Reagan Stout again. And several others were in the mix. I think Meredith Schmidt went out there and got a huge strikeout for us. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing, is that the bullpen can piece together the finish of the games, especially on Sunday. And we have a lot of them. We have a lot of them out there, and they are quality pitchers. And I'm excited to see how that unfolds as the year begins. Jim?
Yeah, I think that our hitters have done a good job. Number one, we put them into environments where they have to make adjustments every day, right? So they've taken that seriously, and they've been, as I said before, they've been very intentional about that and really trying to battle different speeds and different pitch shapes and all different types of things in practice. So having that environment in practice is really translated to the game, and I think they're doing a really good job of watching film and doing some of the things on their own as well. They, taking some initiative and watching kids and coming to me before the games even happen and saying, hey, I'm seeing this from this pitcher and this from this pitcher. And, so I think they've actually prepared themselves very well just in their own way. So, and we always talk about toughness Sunday. At some point, at Game 3, and Vann mentioned this to our team, it's hard to beat anybody 3 times. And, Game 3 is a lot about toughness. It's a lot about, who's going to go out and be as disciplined as you were on day 1. And, I think that our team has really done a good job of that so far. And I hope that that continues, and we're going to continue to do the things we need to in practice to prepare them for game-like experiences.
And one more for me. The 6-0 start to conference play. I mean, you can't get any better than that. You're undefeated to start. But you also have a gauntlet the rest of the way with what the conference is, with who some of your opponents are. How big a deal is the confidence piece? Like, those 6 wins don't get you any wins the rest of the way. You have to still earn those. But how big a deal is the confidence piece as you stare down the rest of these series in conference play?
I think it's huge. We were losing, I think, by 7 runs, six runs. 6 runs in the 7th inning, in the top of the 7th at Tulsa last week in Game 2, and came back and won it in extras. That's a confidence builder. That's knowing we can come back from anything, and then being able to win 6 games. That's a huge. I think it's going to play huge into it. Arlette came out on Sunday yesterday and has 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. That's better than she was on Friday. I think it's going to be valuable to be able to lean on it as we move forward, and know that we have been in tough situations and that we are tough, and we're going to have to draw on that toughness as we continue to, like you said, attack the gauntlet, because that is what we have in front of us. It is a gauntlet, and this league is really good in softball. We've got some really good coaches in this league and some really good players. And I can't say enough about the American softball. I mean, it is a great league, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
I will close out with this, since it's his birthday. Jim's been with you all 3 years at UTSA. What made you initially want to bring him on to the staff, and how have you seen him grow and develop over these past 3 years?
Man, great question. So, fun story. Friend of a friend of a friend of a friend knew Jim, right? So I call him on the phone, and he's a self-proclaimed nerd. He loves analytics. He loves stats, and I'm like, I'm not very good at any of that stuff. The numbers, I look at them and they look like they're just all over the page. It's crazy. And I talked to him on the phone. I'm like, okay, self-proclaimed nerd. Yep, I got that. Check. And then when he gets on board, it was a match. It was a perfect match. It was God put him in front of me at the right time in the right place. And he was here living in San Antonio, and he needed a chance. He needed somebody to believe in him and have a chance. And he has taken that opportunity and run with it. And, man, he is flourishing as the hitting coach. And, I mean, you can see it in our numbers and his impact. That like you said earlier, they know their swings. They know their bodies. And then they have a plan, and it's easy to understand it. It's not too complex, but it's complex enough. And I can't say more about this guy. I mean, he's getting some stuff out of these kids that maybe they didn't think they could get out of themselves. And he's getting everything. He's getting it all. And he's not only is he great with the players, he's great in the office. He's great with the whole athletic department. He's just that guy that he can communicate with anybody. If you can communicate with me, you can communicate with anybody. So just really, really proud of him and really happy for him that he's getting to see some success, because he takes it personally. That's one thing we all have to work on as coaches. It's not personal. But it hits us hard because we're investing everything, and this guy, he's in there all heart and soul and guts and grit, and I'm lucky and proud to have him on our staff. Happy birthday.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, Jim, what's it like hearing all that?
It's awesome. It's fun to coach with somebody who pushes you every day too. Like Vann's been there and she's done a lot of different things that I didn't have the opportunity to do so far in my career. So coming in and having maybe the tools that I have as a coach, and then being able to learn from someone who's been at the highest level and competing in the World Series, and arguably, well, everyone believes the best league, right? SEC. And so it's been fun to learn from her and kind of develop some of the things I didn't even know I needed to develop. You only know what you know. And so when she opened my eyes to a bunch of other things that I can say that I can do now, right? With whether it be coaching wise or in the office or whatever it might be, or just a mentality piece. I think that's the best part about Vann is being with someone who's as competitive as Vann. It rubs off on everybody. Right. And it doesn't matter. It could be anybody in the athletic department. But that's the best part for me is I get to learn from somebody who has a ton of different experiences that I may never experience. So that's been a fun part for me is the development piece.
All right. Thanks, everybody.